then you take that away. Then you give people vapor, and then you say you want to take that away. And you want to create laws to make money off of people by writing them tickets. It's a bunch of crap. If you're going to give them this vaping that'll help, let them do it, And I'm a non-smoker. I don't vape, so I'm not like getting padded expense account from some vapor company or corporation or Philip Morris. This is just my own personal opinion, And I see a lot of people transitioning from cigarettes to being completely vape free. So, and what I like about the vape thing, and it was as it was mentioned earlier, they let you slowly taper. It starts out, you can be 24 and you can work your way down to 0. So it really is up to you to decide when you're ready to do it. And I think that's what God gave us, is free will.
And as a non-smoker, is this vaping bothering you?
No.
This smoking coming around you?
No, not at all. Sometimes, to be honest with you, I love some of the smells.
Yeah.
This gentleman over here, Andrew, was smoking one, and it smelled like pancakes with butter and syrup on it. I was digging it, man. I'm like, this is cool, I mean, I like pancakes and syrup and butter, and so I mean, he's vaping and I'm smelling that, so, and he was telling me it was something entirely different, but in the ingredients. But yeah, I mean, so to me, I guess if they would have had it when I would have been in the business of quitting at that time, I would have been all over this, so I don't know. That's pretty much.
Thanks for sharing that. I go to a meeting, and inside the meeting they're saying that we can't vape in there. And again, it's because people think that the smoke, so maybe some of you can share this again for our audience, those that are listening, that there is nothing that's coming out of this that's going to harm. Or am I wrong?
You're right.
The truth is there's no real science. They're
There's no
studying.
science.
They're studying it now.
Okay.
If you want, I look at it like, these are apples and oranges, but it's the same concept. Like smartphones came out, and people didn't know what they could do with an actual phone that's a computer, right? So they beta tested it for a while, and now we got great smartphones, right? So if we're part of the beta test of vaping, great. I'll be part of the beta test of vaping. See if it works. I would like to see more university studies and things, people checking people over the years how they react to vaping and find out whether it's harmful or whether it's not. The truth is the science doesn't tell you. You have individual cases of people doing that, but as far as like generally accepted studies by like peer-reviewed studies and such, that's harder to come by. So, and what I'm talking about is university level doctors and hospitals studying the effects of vaping over a long period of time, and it just hasn't been studied to the depth that, say, like the FDA would require. They may require 250,000 people to do it to be a study or something like that, and that has not been done on that scale. So, from my personal experience, I'm doing much better now that I vape. Much better. I feel better. I can do things that I couldn't do before. My personal experience is it's way better for me. My doctor is thrilled that I don't smoke and I vape instead. But he's just my doctor. He's not the end-all scientific knowledge. He's practicing medicine just like I'm practicing harm reduction. So.
I asked him, can I vape in the house? And I'm in there visiting. Sure, vape. Didn't say a word. Didn't care about it.
Yeah.
So vaping's actually been around for quite a while. 20 plus years. People who take inhalable corticosteroids are basically vaping. Because they're using propylene glycol, a common ingredient, to administer the steroid. And there's a lot of actual research that has gone into like how effective is this, what kind of like harm can it cause, and most of it's actually if you were to ingest the liquid itself, which is a potential hazard.
Overdose on nicotine.
See, I've heard that some people have gotten pneumonia from vaping.
And there's a lot of and that's a lot of the stuff where we have like scattered like incidences of certain things and stuff is why the FDA is trying to pull a big call on some kind of regulation on like how they manufacture the juice and to what standards they have to do that to. And most people in the vaping community are behind it to some degree. It's just like the depth and reach of how they're going to limit that. Electronic cigarettes by general fashion and use have been around for about 20 years as well. And as an alternative or harm reduction, it's just recently been kind of innovated in a way that seems to be attractive to other people.
The way I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, go ahead.
The way I see it is there's a few main ingredients in vape juice. There's vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol, which are both harmless in nature. They're inactive, they're just fillers, honestly. They're what give the juice its thickness. And then there's the flavoring, which is harmless as well. And then there's the nicotine, which is what people see as harm. But when you look into a cigarette, what harms you in a cigarette isn't the nicotine. That's just what keeps you addicted. What harms you in a cigarette is all the tar and the 340 other chemicals they put in there that give you cancer. And so when you're sitting in a building and you blow a cloud of vapor, they're getting propylene glycol, they're getting vegetable glycerin, and they're getting artificial and natural flavors, which we consume every single day in our sodas or our food. And then there's the nicotine, which after it exits your lung, there's minimal traces of nicotine in the cloud. And when that settles, nicotine is going to be absorbed through your skin, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And it dissipates so fast that the way I see it, there's no harmful chemicals that come out that are going to give you cancer or give you carcinogens in your lungs or damage your body.
They got a thing too on the internet, I guess, from what I understand. We were kind of looking at it. There's like 4,000 chemicals or something in a cigarette.
Yeah,
Jim was
there's
looking at
formaldehyde. They use that to preserve dead bodies.
And they put ammonia in the cigarette too, which gets you more addicted. They started doing that around in the 70s. And because people were trying to figure out, it's like crack cocaine and tobacco, you know? It's like when you add the ammonia to it, it turns into like crack tobacco, basically.
Crack tobacco?
Crack tobacco.
Yeah, we looked it up before we got here, and it was 7,000 chemicals in cigarette smoke, 70 of which are carcinogenic, which means they cause cancer. So that's a lot. One thing that I really liked is I looked at the ingredients to my vape juice, and I thought, well, you know, what is this? What is propylene glycol? What is vegetable glycerin? And then I looked at the ingredients to just like common things around my house, like ketchup and you know, different sauces in the kitchen and mouthwash. And medicines, and these are ingredients that you use in medicines and stuff like that, and different household products that I thought it was, you know, it was strange that people would tell me that, well, don't you know that those chemicals are bad for you? And I wanted to say, don't you know that you consume them every day? I'm just vaping them.
Yeah.
You know? And the truth be told, what does vaping them do? I don't know, but you know.
But you're walking.
I'm walking, I'm
Yeah.
walking, I'm breathing, I can run, I can ride a bike, you know, and I can do that before.
That reminds me, I wanted to ask you, can you stand up? What is that you're wearing there?
Vape Storm, it's a local juice company.
Okay.
They put out good sub juice.
Yep.
They're my favorite right now.
Is that what you got in front
Yeah,
of
this is what I got in front of me right now. I got Exile and Engine number 9. I'm a fruity flavored type of guy. I like the fruity flavor.
Actually, they are nice people too.
Yeah, they're really nice.
First time I talked to them to order more stuff, like, you know, I talked to that guy, what is his name, Cody?
Well, there's Derek.
Derek, sorry. Okay, yeah, Derek, I talked to him, and he's a very nice guy. I ordered my stuff, it's right away. I
So you-
appreciate that.
So you have this here?
Yeah, I got them, I ordered it right away, they brought it to me, and,
Every flavor from Vape Storm is in our store.
yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
wonderful.
Vape Storm's a great flavor. They're great guys, and they really like to take care of you. So that's what I like. So. And they're local.
Made in America.
So Megan, we're gonna do an intervention. You know I have 30 years experience in group therapy. So what do we want to say to vegan group?
What's different in a cigarette than a vape to you? What's a cigarette give you that a vape doesn't?
Well, I've noticed, and why I mentioned the pneumonia part, is I've noticed when I do vape, my lungs tend to get raspy.
There is a study actually done, I looked it up, that all the water vapor constantly hitting your lungs actually breaks up the tar that's previously in your lungs from smoking. It's a study that I saw that could cause that. That's what I was just thinking.
It's interesting.
The constant liquid hitting your lungs deteriorates the tar over the first 2 or 3 months of smoking.
It's illegal in Iraq. You have a vape.
It is? It's
Yeah,
illegal?
because all of
Did you say legal or illegal?
it's illegal. Because what they did, because most of the who owns the cigarette company, who's the big, people there who have the money sell all the cigarettes all over. They give a doctor money. They don't do it. We'll get water in your lung, all that. Yeah, that's what they did. But they did it as a business thing. It's not because of a health thing.
Oh.
That's why they did it. And actually, I told them, they don't know nothing, guys. And I explained to them everything.
Or they did that so you wouldn't vape?
So you
Yeah,
buy cigarettes.
so you could
So you
buy
buy
their cigarettes.
Wow.
That
You
makes
know, there's a
sense.
market.
Cigarettes are big money.
That's a good idea.
Cigarettes and hookah are big in Iraq.
Yeah, that's
Well,
a
of
good
course they're
idea.
gonna fight it. It's a big company, Marlboro, whatever, all the companies. They got they lost a lot of like $1 billion because of vape.
It's interesting.
That's just not gonna, they're not gonna let it go easy like that,
Do you remember when you quit smoking?
Yeah.
Like for the first couple of months afterwards, did your lungs feel pretty good?
Oh, yeah. I noticed a big difference right away. Actually, the first week, I had more energy. I was actually sleeping better. As a non-smoker, I always say, you know what, you'll quit when you're ready. All the love in the world and all the people saying you need to quit will not stop a person from quitting. It has to come from within. And, I recognize that with myself. And nobody really dogged me about smoking, It just was something that I recognized was really getting in the way of my health. And I did the one thing that I really appreciated about not smoking was the fact that when I got up in the morning, I didn't have that green crap in my mouth that just, I hate to say it, but it's the loogie, that big ball of green crap every morning when I got up. And it was just always, and I think Pam mentioned the coughing part, and I noticed that was gone. Like within a couple of weeks, I was already breathing easy. And like you mentioned, Andrew, food was incredibly better. It was like, my God, I had taste buds where I didn't know I had taste buds. And I can only imagine, coming off of cigarettes and going on to vaping, I can see how your taste buds even would improve, But yeah, that was a big, I remember that in my sleep and breathing and just walking to the store or running or whatever. All my athletic activity was improved. Yeah, it was amazing.
You can look at most of the smokers, cigarette smoker lips, a lot of them, they have purple lips. You can see it. A lot of them I see. No. I'll be honest with you, I see, not her, I'm not talking about her. No, I see a lot of people like that, to be honest with you, and they have like always you have crack hair.
That's true.
What I was kind of going for though was kind of the same thing that I had as an experience was.
I'm not interrupting anything.
Like my lungs had to clean some of that stuff out, and I had a natural irritation that happened for the first, month and a half,
Yeah.
where it was slowly getting some stuff out.
Yeah.
And I had a little bit of an irritation that when I started vaping, I kind of felt, I was like, it was basically told to me that you can compare this to somebody who has just cold turkey quit, would have the same exact,
Hi, I'm Ralph Friedrichs. Welcome to Grand Central Station. The train to be here any minute, so if you're ready to get your life back on track, hop aboard. Let's go to www.clearviews.info, where I'll show you how a sober today can make a better tomorrow. If you're ready to get your life back on track, hop aboard the train coming in about 2 minutes. Thank you, and have a great day. www.clearviews.info.
Do you
just
keep
think,
pace with him when you guys go on walks?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've noticed Pam doesn't
And
cough.
some water.
I mean, she used to cough a lot all the time, and
Oh,
she's
yeah.
the coughing is like completely gone. So, it's like, it's like the lesser of two evils. It's like, you could have two different presidents in office, and you're not really sure which one to vote for, but it's the lesser of the two evils. It's like, if you want to call vaping evil or whatever, but I don't really think it's that. I think it's just a discovery that people have found that's helped them, and God, if something's helping you, why, that's my feeling about it. It's like, let's not create laws that put out vaping, you know what I mean? Because you got people that are actually, and I mean, not to mention all the health costs that are saved, if you look at our public the way it is, and people get lung cancer, man. That's just a reality. Emphysema, lung cancer, what is it, COPD, or I don't know, and these lung issues, and bronchitis and asthma. I mean, all these things, a lot of them are real agitated by a lot of heavy-duty smoking. Now, there are people that smoke 3 or 4 cigarettes a day, and they don't have this big, huge pack smoking issue where they're smoking a pack a day. And if you're smoking 3 or 4, and that's working for you, I mean, until you can get to where you want to vape, hey, whatever works.
Yeah. I gotta be honest with you though, group. I have days I want a cigarette so bad. You know what I mean? I'll see somebody smoking and I go, I just want to, you know that feeling? So somebody said sometimes if you're too low on your, what is it? I got 8 milligrams. Is that true? You think maybe, or do you ever still want a cigarette sometimes?
I look at it this way. You smoked for how long? 44 years?
44 years.
Okay, so you ever worked anywhere for a really long time?
Yeah.
You ever woke up and dreamed that night you dreamt about being at work, or you wanted to go back, or you thought you were back, or so you do anything for a really long period of time, it's kind of a natural inclination to go think that way again.
That makes
You know?
sense.
Like, I only smoked cigarettes for 5 or 6 years, so that's a lot different than 44 years.
That's true.
That's so long into your adult, fully developed brain life.
That's true.
That makes sense.
So see, Megan,
I started smoking when I was like 13 years old.
13. So how many years you smoking?
I have no idea. Off and
Well,
on.
we don't want to give away your age, but what do you think, 10 years smoking?
Oh no.
Guess.
Far more than that. I'm
More.
30.
17 years.
So-
I got to be honest, I've been vaping for a year and a half now, over a year and a half, and cigarette free. And occasionally I will have a craving for a cigarette.
Okay.
And I will not hold my wife's cigarettes very often. Like, she has to really, really convince me to hold it for some strange reason. Like if she's running in the house or something, I don't even want to touch it. I don't want, it's like, I'm in recovery from alcohol, and it's like putting a beer in my hand. I don't want it. I
Yeah,
don't want to touch it. I'm not holding your cigarette. I'll tell her that. I'm not holding that thing.
The last time I tried to smoke a cigarette off of one of my cravings, it honestly just made me sick. Sick to my stomach. It made my stomach really, really, really upset. And it made my head and I'm used to nicotine. I vape a lot. It still gave me a different head rush. And that's not from the nicotine. That's from all the other chemicals that
yes,
are in there.
from all the
And
other.
it made me get this close to vomiting after just a few drags. It made me feel so, it was like I just started smoking cigarettes again. So when you're not being peer pressured into smoking cigarettes, and you smoke a cigarette like you've never smoked a cigarette before, you don't want a cigarette, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I had a dream that I relapsed on cigarettes, actually a couple times. And I could literally feel the burning feeling of the smoke going into my lungs all over again. And when I woke up, it freaked me out. I thought I actually had smoked. That's how crazy it was. It was like, my God, did I smoke? And it was weird. Not like a guilt thing, but just I couldn't believe that I smoked,
Yeah.
And it was like weird.
Megan, the fluid in the lung that you talked about, if you think about our thinking, look at all the effects that cigarettes had on us, right? We know what it does. It causes cancer and all that. Now we're worried about a little fluid in our lung.
Well, that makes my heart rate go up.
Well, what about cigarettes?
Cigarettes cigarettes makes my heart rate go up.
But still, the benefits of vaping are still better. Well, what do you think, Jim? Don't you think vaping is still, well,
I support
maybe
my
I should-
wife in whatever she does.
Okay, I'll leave you out of this. I don't want them to go home and fight tonight.
I gotta go home
Yeah.
tonight. I'm not getting into this.
Do you
battle.
hear, what would you say to, do you hear what her excuse is? No, it may be legitimate, it's okay. But what would you say to her? Do you hear her struggle?
Yeah, I definitely understand. I mean, I still smoke a cigarette now and again, not nearly as often as I used to, but there definitely is a difference, and I understand why vaping isn't for everybody and why it might not work for you, because it's just actually completely different. It just works a lot better.
Yeah.
Like it works.
Yeah, and too, Megan, don't worry, because I've heard a lot of people, they vape for a while, and then they've gone back to cigarettes and they vape. And I think every time excuse me, what?
Sorry, that's pretty much what I've been doing too, it's just kind of.
Yeah.
The longest I went without a cigarette, with vaping was 9 days, but I also took Shantex a while ago. And I lasted 30 days without a cigarette, with Shantex. And someone told me, before you pick up a drink, pick up a cigarette.
Right.
So therefore, I'd rather pick up a cigarette.
Yes,
than a drink,
in
so.
fact, is it okay, I'm going to share, you're in recovery 7 years now. And in the last show, you shared with me that you were in and out of the program for a while, and so was I, so that could be part of, doesn't it just take what it takes to get us ready for whatever it is we gotta let go of? Just keep praying about it and asking him for the strength and guidance. So Jim, do you want to share a little bit about your recovery story? And
Well,
since we're talking about addictions today.
I'll keep it tied into the vaping and the cigarettes too. I've been clean and sober for about 10 years now, and
That's right, you just had a birthday.
I did, and
Happy birthday.
I got the X. I was really wanting that one.
The X, what
A
do you mean?
decade's a long time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I originally got out of being locked up and I went and smoked, and I was like, my attitude was I needed something, right? Because I wasn't really sure about the whole, I need to get my life in order and actually be a functioning human being in society and all that stuff. I was kind of on the fence, and so I needed something, so I took the crutch of cigarettes, and man, did it taste nasty. And I went over to my mother's work, actually, and she was like, are you sure you want to smoke? You haven't had a cigarette in like almost a year. Do you want one? And I was like, I need something, give it to me. And so I developed this attitude that I need something, and cigarettes was it for a while. So I tried quitting several times, and I tried, and during that time, every time I wanted to quit vaping, or quit cigarettes, and vaping really hadn't hit the valley yet, I would want to do heroin.
That makes sense.
It was, I wanted,
Yeah.
if I can't have my nicotine, I want heroin. And we'll just go for the worst, that's what I want. And I never really understood why that happened, but I talked to my doctors and everything about it, and they really wanted me to quit smoking because it started to become really popular to get everybody to quit smoking, and we're going to see the health. We're no longer going to ignore the health risks. We're going to start talking about it and getting everybody to realize that smoking's bad and it hurts your body. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I'm not throwing away my clean and sober time because of cigarettes. So I'm going to smoke cigarettes, and that's what I did. And I thank God that vaping came around because I'm not interested in quitting nicotine. I love nicotine. It's great stuff. I don't know what it exactly does, but because I'm not schooled on the science of nicotine, but I know for me that I like it, and I intend to continue to consume it. But I'm really, really glad I can do it in a, I think, safer way. I don't know if it's really safer,
Yeah.
but it feels safer to me. It feels better, and I'm happy about that. So I'm going to continue with my nicotine, and one day maybe I will cut down. I mean, I'm down to 4 milligrams, so I am sub-ohming though, so I get a lot more, and I do vape like a chimney. But I'm happy to be cutting down. And I started at 24 milligrams, and I still vaped like a chimney then. So a bottle this size would last me 2 days.
Nicotine as the chemical in itself is not very harmful for the body. It does have long-term effects as it hardens your veins. They don't expand and contract as well like when you're doing heavy exercise. And it does increase your heart rate, but really other than that, like that's all over time, over years and years and years of nicotine use. Those aren't all the side effects of cigarettes.
Right.
So
a person really should be talking to their doctor.
yeah, nicotine in itself isn't the thing to worry about when it comes to vaping and cigarettes. It's what is in the smoke besides nicotine and tar. It's all the chemicals. Tar is terrible for you. That's what you're coughing up at night. When you wake up, that tar that's coming loose in your lungs. And this right here doesn't give you any tar in your lungs.
Yeah.
May give you some water in your lungs, but your body naturally gets rid of water in your lungs. When you get pneumonia and you keep vaping, I can see how that would make it tenfold worse. Like,
Yeah.
if you have pneumonia and you have water in your lungs that's infected, giving you pneumonia, I can see how vaping could definitely make it a lot worse of a pneumonia fit.
Well, the other part of it too is with the vaping, I'm thinking, okay, the difference between, sucking on the end of one of those vaping sticks as opposed to putting my lips around an exhaust pipe. Cigarettes have carbon monoxide in them. And, that right there puts people to sleep in their own carbon. People commit suicide with carbon monoxide. So that's another thing to consider too.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
People they have a carbon monoxide monitors and fire alarms. Carbon monoxide is a very serious chemical, and they have carbon monoxide leaks under lakes. You just put a flame to it, and it'll burn forever. Not kidding. They have a hole in Russia where they dug a hole that was supposed to go to the core of the earth, and it released like this giant carbon monoxide plume almost. And the scientists decided to light it on fire. Like, this was 30 years ago, and it's still burning to this day. Carbon monoxide is not a good chemical.
How about, you want to share anything about your recovery?
Sure. I'm a member of long-term recovery, and what that really means today is that I haven't had a drink or a drug in some time. And somewhere along that path, it became pretty apparent that quitting smoking was an important part of that, and I can definitely see where certain actions in that recovery program. I can see I have indicators that creep up, I really want a cigarette or some other things along those lines, and I kind of, I'd rather probably smoke than, and I've recently experienced that, right? I had a situation where I did have a cigarette not that long ago, and it tasted terrible, and it wasn't super great, but I have a method by which I can approach those things. And that's an important thing for me. In the sense that it's long-term recovery, that there are slips, right? Even a goal against and I'm gonna kind of steer it back towards vaping. I remember, cigarettes being the first time I can clearly see where I really wanted to fit in. And there's a point where in my adult life where.
Okay, well, thank you all for joining me today. You're helping save a lot of lives. I really appreciate this, and we want to again thank Ollie, wherever he went, for allowing us to be here today. And if you, again, as you heard us all share here today, the benefits and the not so benefits of smoking and not smoking, just give it some thought. Talk to your doctor, talk to your friends, come here to the store and talk with
I'll help you out. I'll get you set up.
with a friend here, talk to others, and you make your own decision what's right for you. But you have a lot of support in whatever you decide to do. And please don't give up, because your miracle is on its way.